Have you ever caught yourself thinking things like, I'm a burden, I'd better not bother anyone, or if I make a mistake, they'll abandon me? At first glance, these thoughts seem like part of adult life, a way to be more responsible, more discreet, more bearable. But what if, in fact, they're echoes of wounds you carry and never realized? Traumas don't just express themselves through tears, screams, or painful memories. Sometimes they disguise themselves as normal thoughts. Today, you'll learn about 8 common thoughts that may actually be silent signs of unresolved trauma. 1. I can't depend on anyone. This thought sounds like independence, but behind it, there may be abandonment. Maybe you learned early on that trust hurts, that asking for help was synonymous with rejection, or that those who were supposed to protect you left you in the lurch. You didn't learn to be strong. You learned that there was no choice. Point 2. If I'm not perfect, no one will love me. You constantly blame yourself, even when you've done your best. You're constantly trying to fix yourself, as if there were something broken inside you. This perfection you strive for may be a defense mechanism to avoid criticism, rejection, and punishment. Exhausting to live with the belief that you only deserve affection if you're always getting it right. Point 3. If I walk away, no one will miss me. This thought follows you like a silent shadow. You come and go from room to room feeling invisible. This lack of belonging may stem from a childhood where your emotions weren't validated, where your presence was tolerated but not celebrated. So you learned to make yourself small, until you disappeared. Point 4. Too much of a good thing will fail. When something good happens, your mind immediately prepares for the worst. You don't allow yourself to feel complete joy, as if it were dangerous to relax. This thought stems from the trauma of instability. When growing up meant living on constant alert, happiness became suspicion. Peace became a trap. Point 5. I must be overreacting. You doubt your feelings. You wonder if you're being too sensitive. And if someone hurts you, the first thing you do is try to justify their behavior. This thinking may stem from years of hearing that your emotions weren't valid, that you were dramatic, or that everything was your fault. Now, you invalidate yourself before anyone else does. 6. If I'm not useful, I'm worthless. You're always available, solving problems, offering help, even when you're exhausted. Your value has been conditioned by what you do, not by who you are. Perhaps you learned that you were only worthy of attention when you were useful or well-behaved. So you became an expert at ignoring your own needs. Point 7. If I show who I am, they'll reject me. You adjust your speech, your opinions, even your laugh, just to avoid disturbing others. You live in a constant performance, fearing that if people discover who you really are, they'll turn away. This fear arises when authenticity was punished, when being yourself meant pain. Now, you hide to protect yourself. Point 8. I can't rest. There's always something I should be doing. You feel guilty for stopping, guilt for sleeping, guilt for saying no. Your mind was programmed to live in a state of alert. Perhaps because it learned that being busy is safe, because pausing gave you space to think, and thinking hurt. So you live exhausted, but don't know how to stop. These thoughts are armor, forms of protection you created as a child, when you still didn't know how to explain what you felt. You just knew you needed to survive. Today, you no longer need to fight the same way. You can question these thoughts. You can reprogram your mind with compassion. If any of these signs resonated with you, know that you are not alone. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. If this video resonated with you, maybe it will resonate with someone you know. Share it can be a quiet way to help. And if you want to continue unraveling your mind, subscribe to the channel here. This journey is yours, but you don't have to do it alone. Thank you for watching this far. See you in the next video. Bye.